People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All right, folks, you don't need no baggage. You just get on board. You're listening to Nichols Live, and I am, again, Larry Nichols, and I want to thank the people that came in late yesterday afternoon and last night that helped meet the need for the treatment. You were lifesavers. Let me get this out. If anybody wants to listen in, the number to listen in is 401-283-6754. When you get there, have them press 1. You can listen on Leading Edge Radio as well, leadingedgeradio.com. And if you want to call in, the number is 501-499-6022. 6022, 499-6022, area code 501. And one other thing, if you want to text, let me, if you want to, looking here at my text here, just a second. Hold 1 second, folks. I've got to read it. Okay. The text number is 440-897-0611. 440-897-0611. Lord, that's a lot to get out just before we even start talking. Now, what we're hearing about the shooter in Orlando, we're starting to hear that it looks like he was a queer. Now, remember what I told y'all. And I don't know why people aren't being told this sort of stuff. I mean, I guess it's just because it's not cool to say. But a lot of times, the suicide bombers, the Muslim suicide bombers, a lot of times they're queers, homosexuals, because if they commit an act of martyrism, then supposedly they get to go to Allah heaven. Now, they do not go as martyrs, but they at least get to get in. Whereas if they don't do that, homosexuals don't get to go to Allah heaven. And believe it or not, if you are a Muslim homosexual, you are thought less of than they even think of us, the infidels. So it could very well be, if he was a homosexual queer himself, that this was his act of trying to buy his way into Allah land. Now, what I'm sure he's griping about today, he's in the middle of a lake of fire, and I think he's going to get there, and well, there's no doubt he's there, and he's not quite living the life that he was led to believe he would. See, there's a lot we need to know about Muslims, but we're not going to get to know it because of political correctness. And since we can't know it, we're vulnerable. The American people are extremely, extremely vulnerable because it's not politically correct to talk about their little kinkiness, the things that they believe that are different than us. And one thing that is yet to be mentioned, and folks, I ask you to think about this. Think about it. And then I want you, if people ask you, tell them about it. Throughout all of this stuff about the massacre in Orlando, throughout it all, And you've got all this game being played by Obama and Hillary where they're saying, you know, it was terrorism, but they're not wanting to say radical fundamental Islamists. With all this stuff going on, once again, oh, and the fact that this guy attended a mosque in the same mosque as where a guy left and blew people up over in the Middle East. I mean, once again, one thing is noticeably absent in the discussion that is going on today in light of what happened in Orlando. One thing. And you need to ask yourself, why is it absent? That one thing isn't what Trump, I think, is referring to when he says there's something, you know, wrong about Obama, because he will not say the word, you know, fundamentalist Islamic terrorist. He won't say those words. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is nobody is mentioning. You might want to write this down. No one is mentioning the fact that look in the Quran. Look at the Quran. What does the Quran really say? Does it say we're all about love and peace? Or does, in fact and indeed, does the Quran instruct its followers to kill infidels, non-believers, and queers, homosexuals? Does it? Now, the reason I say it's noticeably absent, folks, I guarantee you, if one of these Muslim lovers could pull up a Quran and show it to the people of the United States of America, show it to them, and it not mention killing infidels, Christians, non-believers, if it didn't say that stuff, you would be having Korans passed out at every street corner, proving that it's all about peace, love, dope. But it's not. They're not bringing it up. Now think about that. Think about that. Don't you think? Hold on, got another thing here. Looks like an active shooter or multiple shooters at a Walmart store in Amarillo, Texas going on. I'm told it's 1 to 3. Here we go, 1 to 3 mohairs. You know, folks, remember what I told you? Another thing you're not hearing about, Lahiti. That means one up. Somebody's got to get more kills. More kills. But why? Let me get back to what I was saying. Why? Why is nobody bringing up the Quran to prove that, hey, there ain't nothing going on? It's about love. Think about it. Think about it. I'll tell you why it's not a part of the discussion. It's because the Quran, this rule book by which all mohairs live, is all about convert or kill. Convert or kill. You know, I worry at times when, under the president we have now, our black communist Muslim creep, and I'm trying to think if there's anything worse I can call him, scumbag. We're at about 7,300 today. Good. Good. But Obama, that creep, he's not going to tell the American people the truth about anything. But he's sure not going to tell you about Muslims. He's not. Because if he did, you know what? You'd be afraid. You would be afraid. And you know what? Every one of you should be afraid. I'm afraid. I mean, I'm not necessarily afraid for me, but I am afraid for my grandbaby, my daughter. I mean, I'm afraid for your kids, your grandkids. You bet I am. I'm scared to death. Scared to death. Because this event in Orlando, now that they have seen that they can get a big body count in a soft target, that's going to occur now. You betcha. But why won't they show the Quran? Why? That's what I want y'all to ask. That's what I want you to ask. If it's all about peace, then why aren't these clerics, these imams, these mohair lovers, why aren't they holding up the Quran and saying, look, here's verse 1 through 10, whatever, and look how it talks about, and there's nothing. Think about it. Why does it not say anything? Nothing. I got another message from a listener that says the CIA and FBI all over Pulse Shooter for years. Their handprint must be on this somewhere. Now, that's not necessarily true. Not necessarily true. Something's wrong. Something's wrong that they looked into this guy over and over, and yet he was still able to slip through the cracks. Let me see what it says here. Active shooter or multiple shooters at a Walmart store in Amarillo, Texas, ongoing. Shots fired. Now, I'm seeing that from Greg. I have as yet not seen anything on the bulletin up on the news. Now, if it is mohairs, you probably won't see it on the news. No, they don't want it up there. They don't want it up there. Because that'd look bad for Islam, wouldn't it? It'd make Muslims look bad. And we don't want to make Muslims look bad. But I wonder what the truth is about why Obama refuses to say the words fundamentalist Islamic terrorism. Terrorist. And the Orlando shooter, boys, that just beats the band there. Not once, twice. Twice, he was turned in, they investigated, dropped it. And then, not once, not twice, but 3 times during the act of the crime, he calls the police and says, Allah Akbar, and that he's doing it because he's a supporter of ISIS and he's a supporter of the bombers in Boston and the bomber that did it. You know, what more can a person do to prove that they are a part of ISIS or this terrorist organization? Huh? What more can you do? What more can we have? I mean, I guarantee if we had a signed statement from the leader of ISIS, if we had a signed statement from the leader of ISIS, here we go. It says gunman shot, apparently dead. Texas Walmart suspect shot, apparently dead. Good. Good. What is it that Obama just don't want to say? What is it about it? All right, it's time for our commercial. Let me get it on, folks. If you're out there and you can help, please, we need it today. We got there last night, but it was late and scary. So if you're out there and you can help today, will you please go to PayPal? I need your help. Go to PayPal and then go to nicholslive@aol.com and send what you can. Dear God, there's 7,300 of us. I appreciate yesterday there were a few people that sent like $5. That's wonderful. I mean, if everybody would send $5, then I don't even ever have to talk about this. Everything goes on and I can deal with the program. So if you're out there, please help. Please help. nicholslive@aol.com on PayPal. Now you can go to my Facebook page, Larry Nichols, Conway, Arkansas, and there's a button, I think it's yellow there, and you can punch it, and you don't have to be in PayPal. You can have a debit card, credit card, or whatever, and you can do it there. So please, somebody kick it off. Somebody kick it off, and it would sure be sweet to see somebody other than the ones that always do. You know, that would be neat. Now back to the thing I'm trying to tell you about Islam. We need to know about Islam. Why? Because now, is it all of Islam that has declared war on the United States of America? Let's make this just very, very clear. All right? Very clear. No. Every mohair in the world has not declared war on the United States of America. They have not. You got it? They have not. But let me tell you, during World War II, every German in Germany did not want to go to war with the United States of America or anybody else. They didn't. But you see, Hitler and the Nazis made it so that if you didn't, you got killed. Kind of sounds familiar to today, doesn't it? All right, here's something I got. They should vet, one of two. They should vet them, shut down the mosque in St. Lucie and his father and family and export them immediately. They are all backpedaling, saying shooter only had a mental problem. No, the shooter didn't. Well, yeah, he had a mental problem. That's right, listener. He did. He's a Muslim. He follows Islam. He follows Islam. And yes, that is a problem. And it is a mental problem. But you see, we are at war. We didn't declare it. I didn't ask for it. You didn't ask for it. To my knowledge, America didn't just jump out there and ask for it. But we got it. We got it. And they have declared war on us. And that's the part that we just don't seem to be getting right from any of this. We are under a war footing. Under a war footing means that we are at some stage of war against the followers, fundamentalist followers of Islam. And the problem is, we don't know which ones are the fundamentalist followers of Islam. We just don't know. So we are doing today what would have been the same thing in World War II if President Roosevelt had of right during the war. If he had said, hey, let's just start bringing in Nazis. We're going to bring in 10,000 Nazis into this country, but don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid. All right, let's see. My name is Sammy and just sent money through your Facebook. I wanted to know if it went through, and it shows you got it. Sammy, I don't see it as yet. But now, having said that, it does not, folks. Sometimes it don't always show up on this phone. And since I'm on the computer thingy, I don't know if I can do the computer thingy and check it without going off the air. So I may have to, Sammy, text you back after the program if it doesn't show up. But thank you. Thanks for what you did. Now, do you understand what I'm saying about the Nazis? The Nazis wanted war with the world. Hitler and his Nazis, they were the ones that wanted war. Rank and file Germans, I mean, a lot of them were coerced into having to fight. It was either fight or they killed them. Well, the same holds true, you see, with Islam. The fundamentalist Muslims, they want to kill us. They've declared war on us. And they're using any and every way they can to achieve their goal. And their goal is to kill us. And their goal of killing us, your grandchildren, your children, their goal of killing us, do you know where it comes from? It comes right out of the Quran. Right out of it. Right out of the Quran. And we've got a creep for a president. Hold 1 second, Sammy. Yes, Sammy, I did get it. I did get it. Thank you, Sammy. All right, folks, we got 20 from Sammy. So, folks, please, it does work. We got it, Sammy. Thank you. But do y'all see where this is all going? Maybe, I hope. I'm probably getting, sometimes it's hard for me to read the texts and talk to you because I try to read the text and get your stuff out. And it kind of breaks up sort of what I'm trying to say to you. But we're at war. And just because our president refuses, I got this from Sammy. God bless you, Larry. You sound better. Radical Islam is at war with us. They are the foot soldiers of the corrupt establishment. Our government at war with us. Since Lincoln, Love married Carmel. They were with us since Lincoln. Sorry, I didn't read that right. Now, we've got a president that's a creep. That literally through his inaction makes us vulnerable. Makes us very vulnerable. And if that weren't enough, he's bringing in 10,000, he's proud to announce, Syrian refugees that are not or cannot be vetted. All of the young warring class age, 80% of them male, of the warring class age. Now, I'm telling you guys, if Roosevelt had have tried something like that and said, hey, we love everybody, we're going to bring in Nazis, bringing in 10,000 of them during the war with Germany, he would have been tarred and feathered and run plumb out of this country if he lived. But no. No one is challenging it. So it's bad enough we got a president. Then we've got a government all the way through. Our government all the way through in Washington is a cesspool of mixed and varied interest. that keep us from being placed on a war footing. Well, now why is that? Well, you've got guys like Lindsey Graham, John McCain. They want it to stay the way it is because, hey, they're backed by a big military industrial complex. They want things to stay the way they are. They don't want to come in here and stop it. No, that's where they get their money. Then you've got Democrats. They get their money from ISIS's countries loyal to ISIS, Saudi Arabia and others. Now, no, they don't technically get it from them, but they get it from them through back channels. Then you got Hillary getting hers through the Clinton Foundation, through back channels. And everybody just wants just to keep going on and on and on. Until one day, it will finally get so bad. I fear that day will come. I fear this day. I fear that day will come when these terrorists, fundamental Islamic terrorists, get their hands on a nuclear weapon and they literally blow a United States city off the map. That, I believe, is the time that the American people will change things. Then I think the American people will change things. But what's bad about that is look how many lives will have been lost to do that. Look how many lives will have been lost. Got this from the listener. They need to put greater pressure on Muslim churches to give up info. If they find out a shooter came from their group, we must freeze the mosque, freeze that mosque's assets, and staff members be put under immediate surveillance and interrogation. What do you think, Larry? That's exactly what I think. That is exactly what I think, folks. That is it. That's what I was going to get to, listener. What are we going to do? The change is not going to come. We're not going to be made safe, I hope you understand, by Washington and the president that we have presently. It's not going to come. It's not going to come. They've made that quite clear. They have invited Nazis to come here by the tens of thousands, bringing them right here into this country. Sure enough. Of course, they're not Nazis. They're Muslims, Syrian refugees, of which CAIR, C-A-I-R, that's that Muslim group here, not me. They say fully 25% of all Muslims are what they consider to be fundamentalist Islamic radicals, terrorists. They say that. That's their number. So if Obama's bringing in 10,000 by 9/11, what more sinister, sick thing can he do than to bring them in and then give the date he hopes to have that completed and make it 9/11? I mean, this man of evil, is just absolutely sick, sick-headed, wrong-headed, wrong-minded. But now you think about it. Washington's gone. I've told you that. And so, listener, that's where the thing you just recommended is what I recommended yesterday. And I want all of you to get ready because I told you yesterday we're going to suit up. We're suiting up today. You're going to suit up. Army, where are you? We're going to go to commercial and I'm going to beg for the money one more time. We've gotten $20. $20. But when we come out of the commercial, I'm going to tell you what our mission is today and the rest of this week. The rest of this week, we're going to have a mission, sure enough. Let's go on to the commercial. What do you say? Folks have gotten in $20. I'm sorry that I have to ask y'all for this, but I do. It's very difficult to be me on this end doing what I'm doing. That's all I can say. It just is. I need your help to get the treatment today. It ain't coming unless it comes from y'all. Please help me. Just please help. I don't like it, but I don't have a choice. Do y'all understand that? I don't have a choice. If I could never open my mouth and say one damn word about money, I would never say it. I don't have a choice. So please, somebody other than Sammy, ding the dinger, please start dinging it. It's at PayPal, Nichols Live at AOL.com. Dear God, there's over 7,000 people listening right now. Over 7,000. Please help. Now, we just saw with Sammy that it worked going through the Facebook account, Larry Nichols, Conway, Arkansas, Facebook. And there's a button there, and you can send it there. Just let me know you sent it that way so I can go check. I'm waiting, and ain't nobody dinging. Nobody. Somebody help, please. Somebody help, if you can. Well, back to what our mission is today. Just got this from a listener. Please help people. I sent what I could, but I have to wait until I can send more. We need Larry to be okay. Mary Carmel. Thank you, Mary. Guys, we got one chance to come out of this thing now at the rate we're going. One chance. And I've looked at it from every angle, up, down, sideways, around. I have. And without going through the litany of things that I've looked at that I thought we might be able to do to find out we couldn't, let me just tell you the only thing left for us to do. I want you to write this down. We will have it on our Facebook in case you don't, hopefully sometime today. The only thing that will save us today, the only thing we can do today is this. Number one, your state where you live, your state needs to create a state terrorism task force. Just like they do with the narcotics task force. So yes, they can do it. The state police need to be in charge. And then every county and city need to set up their county and local terrorism task force. You do it right there at home. Do it right there at home. And then you need in your state to pass the law or get the law passed or introduced, brought before your legislature and passed, creating the terrorism task force. Then you need to also include in that bill. Now, this is the tough, that's the pill, hard to swallow for some people. But you better swallow it or more people are going to die. This is not a joke. Look at Orlando, Florida, folks. 49 people are dead. And the creep went around and kept shooting people laying in the floor and laughing. This is not a joke. This is not political crap like normal. All right, I've got somebody calling in. Hello, caller. Are you there? Hello, caller. Anyway, I think we have a caller. Caller, are you
Hello?
there? Hello. Anyway, folks, I think we got a caller, but let me finish what I was saying. You need
I'm calling from Israel.
Okay, thank you. I'll be with you in just a second. I've been waiting for you. Hold on. Just hold on, please. You'll appreciate this. We need
holding on.
Yeah, all of the mosques need to be under surveillance. All mosques, both overtly and covertly. And in the law that you pass in your state, you should insist that every Muslim be forced to register in your county. Go register. That way you at least know where they are. Now, on the phone with me is a gentleman from Israel. And if there's anybody that can tell you or tell us about the world of living, being surrounded by Muslims, I guess it's you, sir. Is it not?
Yes. Good afternoon from, actually it's evening here. It's 9:35. I want to greet the audience that you have.
Great.
The world is in turmoil, and this Obama administration continues to support all these Muslims that have been taken into America secretly, and America needs to wake up. 50 is not enough for 50 dead Americans. Is not enough for Islam. This is just the beginning of the end. And I know because I live in Jerusalem, and we for the last 7-8 months have been under constant terror, and we have to be on the watch. Just this past Wednesday, a terrorist disguised, and actually there were 2 terrorists from Hebron, and they disguised themselves as Orthodox Jews, all in black, with their kippas on their hat. They went into the restaurant where hundreds of people were, and took out their weapons and just started shooting people like there's no tomorrow. Let me tell you something, Larry. Islam is not a friend to the world.
No. Now let me ask you something, caller. May I ask you your name, please? I'm honored that you would call us, but I'd sure love for the people to know your name.
Yeah, Dr. Martin, Greg Martin knows me very well. My name is Luden, and I have a radio show on the same broadcast you have, but I've been up there for 6 months. I had to take an unexpected vacation. So you ask the questions, and I'll try to answer as much as I can.
Well, Luden, first off, let me say, on behalf of our audience, we're honored that you would call in to our program, be with us. You live under the threat directly, correct, of Islam every day? Every day.
Absolutely.
Now, you made a statement that I think is significant. You said these 50 or 49 people that this creep killed in Orlando, that's just the beginning, right? That's not going to solve their taste for blood, is it?
Absolutely. Now, let me tell you something. America has so much information that they can go to most of these so-called Muslim or Arab communities, and they know who's on the internet. They know who's on Twitter. They know who's on this so-called webpage, because everything's being watched. They know who's who. America needs to wake up. America is going to be under constant threat. And I'm not saying this to scare anyone. Look, I live in Jerusalem. We are under constant threat every day. When I get on the bus, I have to give my back to the window. I'm not giving my back towards anyone, because I don't know who's going to come and either stab me or to cut my neck or shoot me. I'm always on the watch. Many Israelis here who are dead. taking the transportation every day. They are mindful. They know what's going on. America needs to take a stand. Look, let me point something right quick. I'm not saying that all Arabs are bad people, because I met many good Christian Arabs that love Israel and stand for Israel. But then when you get into these extremists, who want to basically do away with anything that has to do with Jews, and either according to what the Hamas charter says, and I'll quote it for you. The Hamas charter says, it says, "Oh Abdullah, if you see a Jew hiding behind a tree, go and slaughter him. And if you find him under a stone, behead him." So this is something that we live here constantly. And I'm not saying that all Arabs are bad people, because I sit with some of them and we sit and we eat together. But when they start seeking this newfound Islamic Sharia, religion, then it goes out of proportion. I was talking to a very prominent Arab lawyer in the mid-30s, like 37, 38, very intellectual, had a PhD and a doctor, was a prominent lawyer, has property in Jerusalem. He comes from Nazareth, and he discovered Sharia. He has a law firm.
He discovered Sharia.
And he started writing about the Jews, and we are the occupiers of the land. And now, so he says, I met him on the prison bus. He's a so-called political prisoner. They want to behead Jews. Rabbi Lipkin, my friend, says, on Shabbat they will behead the Jew, and on Sunday they will also crucify the Christian. You see what's happening in Syria and Iraq. Daesh, ISIL, whatever you want to call them. I call them terrorists. I say like it is. I don't have any hair on my tongue. My life does not belong to me, and when I check out, I know where I'm going. I'm not going to see 92 virgins. I'm going to see my Maker. They deceive these young men in their 20s and up, and they train them, and they tell them, this is what you're going to get. You're going to paradise, because if you do an act for Allah, and Allah means God in Arabic. Let's make that clear. They continue this false lie in the Quran, and I can quote some of the verses if and when in another show. It has over 120 verses in the surah, which basically states to kill the Jew, to kill the infidel. Who is the infidel? The non-believers in Islam.
That's right. Now, Luden, let me ask you this: do you believe that we in America could ever live under the pressures you live under in Israel, with the Muslims' constant threat of attack? Do you believe America could live like that?
Let me take you back to a little history here. If the Mexicans will take back Texas, or if the Mexicans will start firing rockets, we have received 18,000 rockets from the 18,000 Gaza Strip into Israel. If America will receive 18,000 rockets, I think America will wipe out Mexico.
I think, I don't know today, Luden. I don't know today. I would have said that, but today they would blame Donald Trump.
I stand with Donald. I said that way before he started this campaign that he was the man to beat. I should have put it on my YouTube news channel, and I didn't. But I know what I said, and I stand by what I said. Donald Trump is saying the truth. America's tired of all these political correct politicians in Washington, especially coming out of the Clinton campaign. You know how many hundreds of millions of dollars the Clinton the Foundation has received from the Qataris, from the Saudis, hundreds of millions. You know,
Right.
there's an estimate that says that she will spend $1 billion for her campaign. Where is that money coming from?
I know. I know.
That is food for thought.
All right, my friend, I just got word. I would love to have you back if you would be so kind, where we could devote a program to you. Luden, we need to have you talk to us, because, you know, it's one thing for me to tell this audience from the time I lived with the Mujahideen, when I lived with the Mohairs, what they were like. But it's another to understand what Israel must face every day, because that's what we're going to have to face every day if we don't stop it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I assure you, we're going to stop it if we can stop it. Now, whether we do or not, Luden, who knows anymore?
We gotta stay. We gotta, one nation under God, indivisible. And what happened to America? I mean, our Constitution is being trampled by these so-called wannabe politicians and these so-called Supreme Court justices that have been appointed in the last 8 years or so.
I know. All right, Luden, let me beg out, my friend. I've got to go to commercial, but we will talk again. I promise you. Thank you.
Shalom from Jerusalem.
You bet. Shalom. All right, my friend. Thank you. Now, folks, that's a real honor for me to get a call from a gentleman from Israel. But number one, it's not that big a deal, except it's an honor that we get to hear from somebody what we're going to be going through here. Now, let me get to the last commercial, and then I'm going to tell you what we've got to do. I've gotten in the sum odd total of $25 today. $25. That's it. That's it. If you're out there, please help. I've got 1 hour. I've got 13 minutes to get what I've got to have, 250 today, to be able to get the treatment. And I've got 1 hour to get it in after that. So please, if you're out there, will you help? Please. Now, I'm going to tell you what we got to do. I've told you I will have it posted on our Facebook page, hopefully today or tonight. And I want every one of you to call Donald Trump's office, Donald Trump's campaign headquarters. And when you get there, I want you to leave a message. And you need to tell him, if he will, be nice, don't be ugly, but ask him to go and read the post of what has to happen in this country, where we have to set up statewide anti-terrorism task force, and then move into counties with anti-terrorism task force, into the cities, so that everything is local. Get it out of the hands of Washington, D.C. We can no longer rest the safety of the people in this country singularly on the FBI. Hey, we need to do it locally. Get the power out of Washington. Get the power out of Washington. That will save us immediately. Then make all Muslims, since we don't know which Muslims are tame and which ones aren't tame at the present time. They're not any tame, but some that are acting like they are. We don't know which ones are radicalized. So at least people in the community should know which of the people running around in their community are Muslims. Hey, I guarantee if it were Christians, they'd make us have to do it. There wouldn't be a blink of an eye to make us do it. But the Muslims should be registering so that the people in the community know who they are. And you know what that'll do? That'll make them drive the bad guys out. Yes, it will. And then both overtly and covertly monitor the mosque. And I mean, do it right in their face. Because, folks, all of this hatred, this killing, it comes right out of those mosques, and it comes right out of the Quran that is being taught in those mosques. Now, it must be done, or we are doomed. We are doomed. And there's only one way to get it done that I see, and that is through Donald Trump. Trump. He's the only one that has the voice. He's the only one that has the courage to say these things, because everybody else is going to weigh the political cost. Folks, the political cost is over. It's over. We're talking about real lives lost. We're talking about those lives that we just lost this weekend. And we're talking about the thousands of lives we are yet to lose. Yet to lose. Because there will be more. And I assure you, if your local law enforcement were able, and people turned in somebody like they did this creep, local law enforcement could stay on him and watch him and try to protect the community, whereas the FBI will look at them, follow the minimum requirements they have to, and then when they've done that, they cut loose and let them off. Who's watching them? Who? Everyone in this audience, you get on that phone. Get on that phone and you call Donald Trump's campaign headquarters. We'll try to get the number posted on my Facebook page for you. We'll try. And as I say, don't be ugly. Don't be ugly. All that we're asking is for Mr. Trump to take this and go with it. Go with it. Tell the American people. Tell them that there is a way to protect us today. Please do it. I got a listener who said I will share this message at my village meeting Thursday night. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Look, this is our country. This country does not belong, although they believe it does not belong to Barack Hussein, our black, Muslim, communist creep of a president. It does not belong to him and his bunch. It doesn't. It does not belong to Bill and Hillary Clinton. It doesn't. And it doesn't belong to Washington's members of Congress and the Senate and their staffers and the lobbyists that control Washington, D.C. This is not a country for Goldman and Sachs to do with as it pleases. This country is ours. But until we take it back, it is not. And if we keep ignoring the fact that it is ours, one day we're not going to get it back. And we're very close to that day now. We are very, very close. So everybody, suit up. Suit up. I assure you about 10,000 phone calls to Trump's organization. He will get the message. And although we are but 10,000 or so, we'll make a difference. Says, Larry, I read you posted on Facebook, DHS trucks are releasing van loads of illegal aliens from Mexican border into Phoenix. In fact, any cooperation doing business with the Middle East must have more than E-Verify now, don't you think? Yes. Anybody trying to hire Middle Easterners ought to have to be forced to use more than E-Verify, because as we know, when you start bringing in these Syrian refugees, that E-Verify is not going to help you a heck of a lot because they're not even vetted. Now, are you there? Are y'all out there? $25 is all that has come in today. 25. Without the treatment, I can't make it. I can't. That choice is yours. It's not mine any longer. It's no longer mine. No longer. Now, I will post this, and I ask you all, if you care about this country, you will call Donald Trump's office and ask them, or leave a message, talk to somebody, whatever you got to do, and tell them to go see this post. Get this post to them somehow. Get it to them. Because this is the only way we're going to save this country. The only way. Now, I don't know the outcome in the shooting in Texas at the Walmart store at Amarillo. Haven't seen much about it. It will be masked, I'm sure, by the Orlando thing. But and here you go. Trump campaign headquarters number is 646-736-1779. I repeat that number, 646-736-1779. Please be respectful when you call, but make sure he knows. We need him to know. I've got the 2.5-minute warning. Whoa, I've got my thingy is doing weird. The legals were dropped off in Fort Worth and detained but not arrested, turned over to the INS, who will likely release them, keeping it quiet, likely due to the mohairs that came from Greg. So, guys, this is our country, and we have got to save it, or it will not be saved. Do you hear me? We've got to, or it'll all be lost. It will all be lost. Now, I'm going to ask you once again, please, if you're out there, please help. Please give the PayPal again. It's PayPal, Nichols Live at AOL.com. Nichols Live at AOL.com. Yes. We've got CDs, and Michelle made a donation, and if there's 3 people, the first 3 people that send to my Facebook page that you want a CD, she has paid for you to get a CD of mine. If you, all right, have to be callers, right? You got to call in. Okay, let me get that all straight, and we'll go over tomorrow because we're out of time today. But I just got this from a listener. Please give out your PayPal address. I'm sending 100. Thank you, dear God. Thank you. So somebody help. We've got 100 of the 250. So please, please, if you can. Well, we're out of time. So you know what's got to be done. See you tomorrow.
Over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of.